the Ethiopian Bible's Untold Secrets, the truth about Adam and Eve. The story of Adam and Eve is perhaps the most ancient, powerful narrative in human history, touching the depths of our hearts and souls. For thousands of years, it has shaped the very bedrock of Judeo-Christian beliefs, offering us a way to understand humanity's beginning, the nature of sin, and the unending journey for redemption. This story has guided countless reflections on who we are and why we seek meaning, helping us to see the roots of temptation and our longing to return to God. However, what most people know is the Western version of this tale, a retelling that has become central in Christian theology. But few realize that the Ethiopian Bible, one of the most ancient and mystical versions of the Christian scriptures, holds an interpretation that is strikingly unique, rich in wisdom, and alive with spiritual insight. This sacred text does more than simply recount the familiar story of Adam and Eve's lives. It deepens it, adding layers of profound meaning that invite us to open our hearts and see these events in a new, breathtaking light. The Ethiopian Bible reminds us that this story is not only about two individuals at the dawn of time, it's about each one of us, our divine potential, our struggles, and our ultimate purpose. In this exploration, we will journey through the mysteries that the Ethiopian Bible unveils about Adam and Eve, beginning from their sacred creation, through their lives in paradise, to the heartbreaking moment of their fall. This ancient tradition imbues each part of their story with a depth of philosophical meaning, revealing symbols that challenge our usual understanding and bring forth a truth that is at once unexpected and profoundly moving. As we uncover these truths, we may find ourselves drawn to a closer relationship with God, inspired by the journey of Adam and Eve as a mirror of our own lives. A journey toward reclaiming the divine love and purpose with which we were created. In the Ethiopian Bible, the creation of Adam is a deeply sacred event, radiating with God's loving intention and the boundless potential within humanity. Unlike the traditional Western image of Adam being shaped from mere dust, the Ethiopian tradition teaches us that Adam was formed from the purest, holiest earth, a material chosen not for its physical nature, but for its spiritual significance. This earth was handpicked, filled with divine energy, representing not only physical matter, but the boundless spiritual potential God instilled in humanity. Through this sacred act, we see the Ethiopian understanding of Adam as more than just the first human. He is a reflection of the highest possibilities for all of us. The Ethiopian Bible reveals that Adam is God's masterpiece, a blend of strength and fragility, embodying both the majesty of heaven and the humility of earth. Crafted with careful intent, Adam's creation reflects a God who deeply desires a relationship with humanity. He is shaped not simply as a living creature, but as a vessel of God's own light and wisdom. This spark of wisdom, this divine breath of life, does not merely animate Adam, but empowers him to lead, to seek understanding, and to nurture creation. In this telling, Adam's creation becomes a symbol of humanity's own journey. Each of us carries within us the same divine spark, a sacred connection that calls us to grow in wisdom, compassion, and love. Through Adam, we see that our purpose goes beyond survival or daily toil. We are called to reflect God's own goodness, to lead lives of meaning and service, and to discover the beauty of divine purpose. The Ethiopian Bible offers us a vision of our truest selves, urging us to awaken our divine potential, to see ourselves as crafted by God's hand, each life a precious, intentional gift meant to shine with the light of the Creator. In the Ethiopian Bible, The creation of Eve is one of the most profound moments, a moment not only of divine creativity, but of divine intention. Unlike the traditional Western story, where Eve is fashioned from Adam's rib, the Ethiopian tradition describes her being formed from light itself. This light is no ordinary glow. It is the very essence of God's wisdom, purity, and eternal strength. Eve is crafted from the substance of the divine, made radiant with the power of heavenly knowledge and understanding. Her creation is a testament to God's plan for humanity, a plan in which both man and woman would shine forth as partners, equal in their spiritual dignity and purpose. In this tradition, light is more than just brightness. It is a symbol of insight, wisdom, and holiness. Eve's very being reflects these divine qualities, setting her apart as a figure of profound importance in the story of creation. She is not simply a helper or companion. She is Adam's equal, created to stand by his side as a co-guardian of the world. As beings crafted in the image of God, both Adam and Eve are imbued with the capacity to reflect God's light, to live out a divine calling together. Eve's role, then, is one of deep purpose and sacred responsibility. She is a source of guidance and support, a companion on the journey, whose light illuminates the way for both of them. In choosing light as the source of Eve's creation, the Ethiopian Bible brings forth a vision of spiritual equality, suggesting that both man and woman are equally capable of understanding and living out God's will. Eve's wisdom and insight are seen not as secondary traits, but as essential to the divine plan. Her strength lies in her ability to offer clarity and counsel, helping Adam remain true to their shared purpose. Together, they are caretakers of creation, bound by a sacred partnership that reflects the unity and harmony God intended for all of humanity. This portrayal of Eve redefines her role within the sacred story. She is not a follower, but a leader in her own right, a woman whose creation from light signifies the equal distribution of divine qualities. Her purpose goes beyond simply being a companion to Adam. She is a co-creator, a partner in every sense, equally responsible for the care of God's creation and the fulfillment of divine purpose. Her wisdom, rooted in the light from which she was formed, allows her to offer guidance that enhances Adam's own understanding and supports their mutual journey toward holiness. In the Ethiopian account, Eve's creation from light becomes a powerful reminder of the spiritual equality and unity that God intended for all humanity. It is an image that challenges us to look beyond traditional interpretations and see the beauty and dignity of God's design for men and women. Both are meant to share equally in the gifts of wisdom, strength, and grace, reflecting the fullness of divine love in their relationship and their stewardship of the world. The Ethiopian Bible offers a beautiful and profound vision of Eden, elevating it beyond a mere physical paradise into a sacred realm where heaven and earth intertwine in perfect harmony. In this portrayal, Eden is not simply a garden with lush trees, rivers, and animals. It is a holy place, a sanctuary filled with the very presence of God. Here, spiritual and physical worlds are woven together in a seamless unity, reflecting the ideal state of humanity. Living in intimate communion with the Creator, heart and soul attuned to the mysteries of the divine. Imagine this Eden, a place of indescribable beauty and peace, where Adam and Eve do not merely exist, but thrive in perfect unity with God. Their every breath is filled with His grace, their every step guided by His presence. They do not experience God as distant or unreachable. Instead, they walk with him, hear his voice in the gentle rustling of leaves, and feel his love radiate from every part of creation. This Eden is not just a home, but a reflection of humanity's highest potential. A life lived in complete alignment with divine purpose, free from the distractions and burdens that so often cloud our hearts. In this sacred realm, Adam and Eve are fully alive, not only physically, but spiritually. They live in joy that goes beyond earthly pleasure, a joy rooted in the fullness of God's presence. Each flower, each blade of grass, and each flowing stream reflects His glory, as if creation itself sings a hymn of praise. Their hearts are free from fear, envy, and doubt. They are content, deeply fulfilled by the spiritual harmony they share with their Creator. They do not strive or worry, for their trust in God's love is absolute, filling them with a peace that passes all understanding. This portrayal of Eden serves as a powerful metaphor for the inner paradise that God intends for each of us. It is a vision of the spiritual union we are all invited to experience, where our own hearts can become like Eden, a place of rest, beauty, and divine presence. While we may not walk with God as Adam and Eve once did, we are reminded that within us lies the potential to reconnect with Him, to cultivate that harmony through prayer, faith, and a sincere desire to align with His will. The Ethiopian Bible's Eden is not just about a lost paradise. It is a reminder of what humanity is capable of, a life lived in the fullness of God's love, attuned to His divine plan, and at peace with all creation. This Eden beckons us to look within, to seek the sacred space in our own souls where we can meet God, know His peace, and reflect His love to the world. It is a call to return, to restore the spiritual harmony that was lost, and to live in joyful communion with the One who created us. In the Ethiopian Bible, the serpent does not appear as just a sly deceiver, tempting Eve with clever words or subtle manipulations. Instead, it takes on a much darker, almost cosmic role, one that transcends simple trickery. This serpent embodies chaos and darkness, not just as symbols, but as active, powerful forces working to unravel the divine order that God had lovingly set in place. It's not simply a creature of temptation, but an agent of destruction, envious of the unique bond between humanity and the Creator, a bond rooted in love, trust, and divine purpose. Driven by envy and resentment, the serpent sees in Adam and Eve a profound intimacy with God, one that it cannot share. Here, the serpent's mission is clear, not just to sway Eve, but to sever the special connection between humanity and God, introducing disorder into the heart of creation. This act is not a mere temptation. It is a full-on assault against God's purpose for humanity, an attempt to pull Adam and Eve away from their divine calling and into a shadowed world where trust in God is fractured. The serpent represents the forces of darkness that are determined to oppose humanity's mission to live in harmony with God and creation. The Ethiopian Bible presents Eve's temptation as more than a simple exchange or a moment of persuasion. It's a profound spiritual battle, a struggle of light against darkness, wisdom against deception. Eve, created from divine light, endowed with wisdom and clarity, is drawn into an intense conflict. She finds herself torn between her God-given purpose and the alluring promise of knowledge that lies just beyond the boundary God had lovingly set. This temptation is not merely about a fruit, but about the very essence of her relationship with God and her understanding of herself. The serpent's approach is subtle and insidious, targeting not only Eve's curiosity, but her desire to fulfill her divine potential. It plants seeds of doubt, whispering possibilities that blur her vision and chip away at her faith in the goodness of God's command. The Ethiopian text portrays Eve's internal struggle in vivid detail, capturing the tension as she wrestles with questions of identity, purpose, and freedom. Her battle against the serpent's words becomes an image of our own struggles, a mirror reflecting every human's challenge to remain steadfast in faith amidst the world's many enticements and whispers of self-doubt. This portrayal of Eve's struggle serves as a profound reminder of the complexities of the human journey. Just as Eve was faced with a choice between her higher calling and the promise of forbidden knowledge, so too are we confronted daily with choices that test our devotion, our patience, and our trust in God's plan. Her battle is in many ways our own, a timeless reflection of humanity's constant struggle to balance the call of earthly desires against the light of divine calling. In the end, the Ethiopian Bible's story of Eve and the serpent goes beyond the simplicity of temptation. It reveals a grand spiritual drama in which every human soul is caught between the forces of light and darkness, of wisdom and deceit. Eve's story encourages us to look inward, to recognize the daily spiritual battles that shape our faith, and to trust in the wisdom and strength God has given us to resist the darkness. In this telling, the struggle in Eden is not confined to the past, but is a living, ongoing battle, a reminder of the precious gift of free will and the divine calling that every heart is invited to embrace. In the Ethiopian Bible's beautiful yet somber portrayal, Adam's decision is not a story of simple disobedience. It's a profound act of love, loyalty, and sacrifice. Unlike the common retelling, where Adam is merely tempted or falls out of weakness, here he is aware of Eve's transgression, but chooses to remain by her side. This decision is not driven by temptation, but by a deep, selfless love. A love so powerful that he cannot bear to see her alone in her fall. Adam's choice is not blind or reckless. It is the conscious sacrifice of one who understands that true love is not without cost. He willingly accepts the consequences of sin, stepping into the darkness with Eve, knowing he must leave behind the pure communion he shared with God. This portrayal adds a new dimension to Adam's role in the fall, a layer of sorrow and beauty, where human love mingles with divine tragedy. Adam's love for Eve and his commitment to stand with her, even in her brokenness, remind us of the sacrifices we make for those dear to us. It is a story that echoes in our own lives, as we often face the difficult choice between staying true to our highest calling and remaining with those we love. Through Adam's decision, we are reminded of the precious and painful balance between earthly loyalty and divine duty, between the bond of human affection and the call of spiritual obedience. His choice illuminates the complexities of love and sacrifice, showing us that even noble intentions can carry heavy consequences. In the end, Adam's choice embodies both the strength and fragility of human relationships, touching on the eternal truth that while love unites, it also often requires us to bear each other's burdens, even at great personal cost. In the Ethiopian tradition, this moment captures the bittersweet depth of the human spirit, a love so strong it risks separation from God. Adam's story becomes our story, a reflection of the timeless struggle between heart and soul, between earthly ties and heavenly aspirations. In the Ethiopian Bible, the fall of Adam and Eve is not simply an act of disobedience. It is a moment of cosmic significance, a tragic fracture in the very fabric of God's perfect creation. When Adam and Eve, in their yearning to know more, eat from the forbidden tree, something profound happens. The garden, a place brimming with God's radiant light and life, where every leaf and every stream carried his peace, is suddenly cloaked in shadow. The bright harmony of Eden, which had echoed with the presence of God, falls silent. The joy that once filled Adam and Eve's hearts is replaced with a haunting emptiness, and they find themselves lost, no longer in the presence of their Creator, but in an unfamiliar world filled with fear, shame, and separation. Their shame goes beyond mere physical nakedness. It is a new awareness, a painful understanding of vulnerability and mortality. They now know what it means to be separate from God, to feel the ache of a soul no longer in communion with its Creator. This sorrow is not just theirs alone. It is a ripple that moves across creation, reaching even the farthest corners of the world God so lovingly made. In the Ethiopian tradition, this fall is much more than a single act of defiance. It is the very moment that chaos and disorder creep into the world, disrupting the divine harmony of creation. The bond between humanity and God is strained, and what was once a clear path toward God's light now becomes a winding, shadowed journey. This ancient wisdom teaches us that Adam and Eve's story is not merely one of paradise lost. It is also the beginning of a great spiritual struggle that we, too, inherit. Humanity is now on a path to rediscover its purpose, to seek the light of God once again. Of being cursed by this sin, betrayed, and confounded. This vision calls us to recognize our own journey, a journey of reconciliation with the divine, of turning away from chaos and returning to the peaceful, ordered life God intended. The Ethiopian Bible's portrayal of the fall asks us to reflect deeply. How can we, in our lives, bring harmony back to God's creation? How can we, who share Adam and Eve's sorrow, also share in their hope for redemption? In this telling, the fall is not the end but the beginning of our story, a story that leads us ever back toward the heart of God. The Ethiopian Bible's portrayal of Adam and Eve opens a window into the soul's timeless journey, rich with layers of spiritual meaning that go beyond simple storytelling. This narrative invites us to look deeper, seeing the tale of creation, temptation, and the fall, not as distant history, but as a mirror held up to our own lives, filled with echoes of divine mystery and beauty. Through this sacred lens, we begin to see Adam and Eve's story as a profound parable about human nature, about our own struggles, our divine purpose, and the boundless love of a Creator who breathes life into us with such care and intention. In this Ethiopian vision, the Garden of Eden becomes more than a physical place. It represents a state of perfect harmony where human and divine once walked together, heart to heart. The story reminds us that we were made for unity with God, that our deepest longings are reflections of a lost paradise we still feel in our hearts. This is not merely about a paradise lost long ago. It's about the paradise God wants us to rediscover within ourselves. For within each of us is a divine spark, a sacred essence that carries God's wisdom, love, and purpose. This spark is our calling, drawing us back toward that original harmony, urging us to seek holiness and reconnect with the eternal beauty for which we were made. This telling of Adam and Eve's story reveals our struggles as part of a grand design. Every temptation we face, every moment of darkness, can lead us back to the light if we let it draw us closer to God. The Ethiopian Bible speaks to us about the choice between love and disobedience, light and shadow, reminding us that even in our stumbles, there is grace and a path back to the Creator's embrace. In this way, the story becomes a map for our lives, showing us that the search for wisdom, harmony, and God's purpose is the true calling of every soul. This sacred narrative is a whisper from ages past, a reminder that we are all part of God's divine story. May we embrace the journey, strive to keep that divine spark alive, and let it lead us toward the everlasting joy and peace we were meant to find. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you enjoyed this video and want more content that dives into the mysteries of faith, history, and the Bible, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Together, we can continue to explore these ancient stories that shape our beliefs and inspire our lives. Stay tuned for more, and may your journey toward wisdom and spiritual growth be richly blessed.